Sorry about that.
Alright.
Don't start that rumor.
I'm just getting organized with all my stuff that I'm carrying around. Good morning, everyone.
Exactly.
My name's Eric Meyer. I'm a state representative from Legislative District 28. And this morning, I'll be talking about House Bill 2291. Did I use the right number? Yes, from the back of the room. This is a bill that expands empowerment accounts in our state. And I don't think it's a good bill. 12 years ago, I got involved as a parent at my kid's school because of the lack of support for public education in our state. I came down to the Capitol at that time as a parent to talk to some of the people that worked here at that time. In particular, I remember talking to the president of the Senate Education Committee chairman and asked them, why aren't we supporting our schools in the state? And he told me, well, we don't need a public school system. We just, everybody can just be homeschooled. And I said, oh, really? So I realized at that time that we had some challenges in our state. I had no idea that over the course of the next 10 years, and the last 6 years that I've been working here, we'd continue to dismantle the public education system in our state, and this bill is a direct assault on our schools. It would allow, potentially, up to, depending on whose numbers you use and what amendments get attached to that bill this afternoon, 600 to 800,000 of our students to opt out of our public school system using this strategy. Now, right now there's a cap so that it will be limited to just 5,000 or so of the students in our state. But even still, that means over the course of the next 3 years, it'll take $30 million out of the general fund to go to these students, and I have a note from JLBC here if anyone's interested in that, out of our school system, out of our general fund, and into the private school system. And you're all aware that the Superintendent of Public Instruction has been advocating for kids to leave the system, depending on which amendments get passed today, to leave our public school system and go into the private school system. And depending on what amendments pass today, it's JLBC thinks, and I think, that this will open up opportunities for parents who already have the means to pay for private school to get a coupon that's worth about $5,400 to transfer their kids out of our public school system and into the private school system. And the amendment that's on this bill for this afternoon would open this up to all kids that attend Title I schools. So as an example, Arcadia in the Scottsdale School District, where I was on the board, is now a Title I school, but it has a very diverse population of students. Some of those students have parents that have the means already to send their kids to private school, and this would just give them a free pass to take $5,400 in taxpayer dollars and take their kids to private schools. And on top of that, those parents can also give the $2,000 donation to an STO that will help their kid at their private schools. $5,400 level is the charter school funding level, base level, which is higher than the level that district schools get. So it's already higher than some of our district schools receive to educate their kids in their district. So, if kids take advantage of this, and if the cap is removed, this will have a dramatic impact on the public schools in our state, and in particular those kids that don't have the means to leave their public schools. So my argument obviously is, rather than coming up with some scheme, and the scheme has absolutely no accountability, there's no testing required, there's no plan to make sure that this is the right thing to do for our kids. And in fact, we're spending lots of time right now talking about the Common Core and how important that is to the future of our students, the future of our state, the future of our business community. All these students that leave this system will have absolutely zero accountability attached to these empowerment accounts. So I think on so many levels this is a bad idea. I'm hoping that today on the House floor this bill will be defeated and that we'll be able to focus on the kids in our public schools and a plan to help all 1.1 million of them be successful. So, at that point, I'm going to introduce Jeremy, who is the Chief Financial Officer for the Kyrene School District, and he's going to take off where I left off. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative Meyer. Good morning, everyone. So I am with Kyrene School District, and I wanted to talk about how the Empowerment Scholarship accounts currently impact education in Arizona, and then talk on a broader perspective of how this expansion and the whole push for school choice is impacting Arizona. So first, let's say that you have 10 autistic students in your district. With 10 students, you can create a great program for those 10 students. But once you start to open that up and you have a few of those students who leave to go to a private school, a couple of them go to a different private school, some go to charter school, now you're left with 1 or 2 students. Well, with 1 or 2 students, you don't have the same economies of scale, so you can't offer as good of a program as what you were offering before when you had 10 students. It works the same for all the places that they left to. So the quality of education for all 10 of those students now has been downgraded because they've been split between different buildings, and you don't have enough income coming in, enough revenue to generate a great program for them. That's now happening on a broader perspective because of what we're doing with school choice, and these empowerment scholarship accounts are flying under the same flag of school choice, of let's put more money into more buildings so we can have more opportunities for everyone out there. By expanding this, what you would end up doing is you're going to then, on a wider scale, break down the number of students that are attending each school, and because of that, the schools are then able to offer less programs, less resources, less opportunities for all their existing students. It used to be that when you planned a community out, you built the neighborhood, and you knew that at least 95% of the students that were going to be in that neighborhood were going to come to the local school. That's how it used to be built, and that's how all of our schools are currently built. They're built to hold 95%, however, they're not getting 95% of the students anymore, they're getting 70%. And so you're having the Auditor General asking questions such as, why are some of our school districts underutilized? Why are some of their school buildings underutilized? Why is the percentage of dollars in the classroom going down year after year statewide? And they're not putting 2 and 2 together and saying that if you're going to finance more buildings, you're going to have less money going into the classroom because you're paying for more buildings out there. And that's what these empowerment scholarship accounts are doing as well. At the same time, we're not learning from our previous mistakes. We had already a similar program that in 2009 was found unconstitutional. And we didn't learn from the mistakes of pushing that program. This is a very similar program to what was unconstitutional back then. This program is currently in the courts and going to the Supreme Court. If you expand it now and you start to offer this to all these families, and then it's found to be unconstitutional, how disruptional is that for the family who made this choice, moved out of their local school district to go to one of these private schools, and less than a year from now is told that, oh, you know what, the program's unconstitutional, we can't afford to give you this anymore, and you need to move your students back into your local school district. How disruptional is that for the family? How disruptional is that for the education environment, where you have this fluctuation now between the students leaving and coming back? So, you know, Arizona leads the nation in school choice, but we don't lead the nation in academic achievement. And I think we need to be a lot more strategic about how we're pursuing school choice. School choice is great, competition is great, collaboration is better. I think we need to make some more strategic decisions on what we're doing statewide. That's my take on the issue. Thank you.